What's up, guys? Kevin Cage here with another crypto update. Hope everybody's doing well, and we're going to run through some recent news today. First up from SIBO. So we know they listed on their website 5 new listings for 5 Ethereum spot ETFs, and they say that trading will begin tomorrow, Tuesday, July 23rd. So we can see the VanEck Ethereum ETF right there. If we go to their website under new listings, we can see a total of 5 issuers. 21 shares, Fidelity, Franklin Templeton, Invesco, and VanEck with their tickers, and all set to launch tomorrow. So SIBO stands for Chicago Board Options Exchange, the world's go-to derivatives and exchange network. And SIBO is a really well-known exchange in the US for trading options contracts on financial instruments, indices, stocks, etc. So overall, this is really good to see them getting involved with other financial products in the crypto space, specifically the Ethereum spot ETF. Now, looking at the Ethereum weekly price chart, we can see we are holding above the 50-week moving average around that 2600 level, but for the most part, we can see up, down, just stuck in this range. These lows, these wicks and candle bodies around 2900, and then even the highs just over 4000 where we hit earlier in March. So we'll see how price reacts, and I do refer back to different Bitcoin spot ETFs and look at the performance, because I know that the approval of these spot Ether ETFs and trading to go live is a really good thing for the crypto space. These are not futures like we've had in the past. This is a spot ETF which requires actual Ethereum. So spot ETFs are a great thing for any crypto asset because you're plugging into traditional finance. It might not be instant and overnight. Maybe we can get some good volume, we'll see. But overall, think about what Bitcoin did when it got approved. In January, we can see it was relatively slow and the volume did take a few months to pick up, but overall it was net positive for inflows into Bitcoin. Because looking at the Bitcoin weekly and seeing when the trading actually went live for the Bitcoin spot ETFs, we were still under 50,000. And zooming in on the Bitcoin daily price chart when the spot trading went live for the ETF, we can see, really, Bitcoin dumped for a few weeks. So it took a little while to get inflows, but the big picture was a really nice retracement. So we'll see if Ethereum ends up doing something similar to Bitcoin where we dump for a little bit and the macro view is a much bigger retracement to the upside. Right now today in this range, the weekly RSI is pointing down and then going to the daily RSI, we are looking a little weak here. So big picture, I just want to see Ethereum maintain above the 50-week moving average. And I just remind myself that there are other huge issuers at play like BlackRock, which has already been approved, and I believe that other spot Ethereum ETFs come in the future. And if anything similar in terms of volume or even 10% of the volume that went into Bitcoin goes into Ethereum at some point, that's a really big deal because Ethereum's market cap is a fraction of Bitcoin. And historically, looking at the previous cycles, we've had months and months of boredom up here. This is all noise until we see confirmation of Bitcoin's first major move, that first monthly candle into the purple box like we've seen over the past 3 cycles. So we're still ranging under that recent wick just under 54k to just shy of 74k, just up, down, months of boredom, and I'm hoping that we can get some liquidity into this market as soon as possible. And for anybody new, I keep referring back to the Bitcoin dominance price chart looking at the previous 2 alt seasons where alts had sizable retracements and some of which went absolutely parabolic. So we had 2017 and Q1 2021. So during these crashes, Bitcoin was drawing major moves and all-time highs. We haven't seen that and going into higher highs. So the setup for another alt season is still there, I just don't know how long this takes, and in these periods, alts can go in absolutely any direction. We could see a 50% crash, or we could just see a big retracement across the board, and I just want to see confirmation of Bitcoin drawing major moves and all-time highs, ideally well past 80,000. Because that would be the breath of fresh air I want to see, because historically, once we get that monthly candle, up until cycle top, being up here from 200 to 300 days would be a dream come true after what we've witnessed over the past few years. Bitcoin is still holding the uptrend, and in 9 days, this monthly candle closes. So for me, looking at these previous cycles, maintaining above this orange EMA, this is the 8-month EMA, it is very important in 9 days to see Bitcoin close monthly candle bodies above 58,776. So long story short, if Bitcoin trends sideways or crashes, and this just takes a little longer, it's going to be really boring. But if we see Bitcoin draw major moves in all-time highs, well past 80,000, it is absolutely time to pay attention to alts again. And for my personal expectations, I look at a variety of alts last cycle to see how they performed, and HBAR is a really good example. We can see an accumulation, up, down, it crashes below the lows, crashes again. None of this price action happened until Bitcoin got its first major move. Bitcoin blasted, Bitcoin dominance topped during the week of December 28th, 2020, and then a variety of alts started to recover. So the ROI can be different based off tokenomics and volume, but the big picture view is I expect a variety of assets to experience another alt season when we see Bitcoin drawing major moves and all-time highs and Bitcoin dominance crashes. In the meantime, as we're awaiting for confirmation of Bitcoin to draw major moves and all-time highs, I'll still be covering assets whether we're just ranging in accumulation or we crash to the lows. Because the structure of Bitcoin dominance is showing we have another setup for another alt season, especially considering where Bitcoin's at today. Just looking at the monthly cycles and just really looking at the cups of the monthly RSI. Yes, we had this wave over 70, but we haven't seen the first major move, which is in line with all the other cycles. So I get it, and hindsight is 2020. I realize how stupid it is talking about crypto and altcoins during these 4-year cycles that we've witnessed, looking at the lengths of even the longest cycle, 2017, from the peak of the price up until we got that first major move, 1,277 days. If we measured from this peak of the RSI just for a comparison of how long that would look, we're getting pretty close to that level in September. And if we measured from the previous cycle top around 69K up until 1277, that takes us even longer to that trend line, but these structures exist. So that was just a quick rant on one of the many reasons why I'm staying in the crypto asset class, because I believe these markets move in cycles and we're in the range, and I'm happy to look like an idiot for as long as it takes, as long as we get confirmation of another cycle. Okay, let's run through some recent news. We're going to go over HBAR, DAG, and Casper. So on Santiment, under the screener, we can see Hedera is ranked number 1 in terms of 30-day development activity. This is basically connecting to or sourcing from the public GitHub repository, so good to see. Next up, shared by Generation Infinity, we have Deloitte and Hedera launch an ESI platform. This is an environmental and social impact platform. We can see environmental impact measurement for corporations striving to achieve net zero goals leveraging Hedera's blockchain technology. The ESI platform ensures data integrity and transparency in sustainability reporting. Through the use of the Hedera Guardian, the Guardian is an open source software that enhances Hedera's climate initiatives by providing a transparent, accountable framework for environmental projects, facilitating the creation, management, and reporting of digital environmental assets such as carbon credits and renewable energy certificates. So I know there's a lot of controversy with these types of use cases and topics when you talk about ESI or ESG, and I get it, I don't necessarily agree with it, but because all of these companies are basically mandated to get a certain type of score, I think it's a really big narrative. And therefore, I think it's important for any of these blockchains or crypto networks that want to take advantage of this narrative or opportunity to be able to do so, and have live applications ready and proof of concepts. We can also see that Hedera's mainnet has officially surpassed over 60 billion transactions, and the HBAR Foundation has allocated over $408 million. Generation Infinity made a great post highlighting the Hedera Consensus Service HCS with a bunch of groups listed below, including the National Science Foundation NSF and then the Department of Defense funded company Tachyon Network leveraging HCS. We've gone over this before, the TFS Lite solution to verify storage and encryption of files stored on Hyperledger Fabric. So Hyperledger Fabric is private, but this is a hybrid use case because it combines another private framework of Hyperledger, and remember that Hedera sits on the Hyperledger Foundation with this framework Sawtooth, and it combines it with the consensus from the public hashgraph. They also list a bunch including Avery Dennison's Atma.io platform, which is one of the biggest real-world use cases I've seen on Hedera's hashgraph to date, tracking over 30 billion items, and each item is assigned with an identifier. So we can see unique digital IDs, and this is literally using Hedera's consensus service. We have right here Chainlink, AWS, Hedera, and the Hashgraph Association taking place on August 2nd, unlocking innovations and maximizing blockchain technology, and this is taking place in Hong Kong. And last week, we had some upgrades for Hedera Services software on the mainnet, introducing 2 key HIPs, HIPs. This stands for Hedera Improvement Proposals. And friendly reminder, if you ever want to take a look at the Hedera network status, you can visit status.hedera.com and you can actually get some insights looking at the mirror nodes, individual nodes, and just look at the mainnet as a whole. So we can take a look at which nodes are operational, and then we can also see a partial outage right there for node 6. So if you'd like to take a deeper look at these 2 recent Hedera improvement proposals, we have the URLs right there. And you can also visit hips.hedera.com. Next up, I saw this shared by Hedera, so we have DBS Bank. This is one of the largest banks based on AUM in Singapore, and they will conclude its tenure on the Hedera Council. We extend our appreciation for their contributions over the past 3 years. So I don't know too much information about this personally. I've seen chatter that DBS Bank wasn't contributing, and if there is a Hedera Council member not contributing, they may as well not be on the council, so maybe that's the reason. And looking at Hedera's council today, including Deutsche Telekom, Aberdeen, IBM, Google, a bunch of big groups, we have 8 more spots left. So Hedera has some really big names already in this list. I'm just hoping that they can get some even bigger names and names that are specifically going to contribute to Web3 applications. We also have right here taking place in 2 days in Dallas on July 24th, we can see Consensus, Hedera, and Bank Social converge, redefining finance with DLT. Next up, for Constellation Network, this month they announced a partnership with Panasonic North America. Exciting initiatives that will be revealed later this year. We can see Panasonic as a supporting hackathon partner in the Metagraph Hackathon. So Panasonic initially joining the Metagraph Hackathon to gain visibility, monitor, and analyze the DAG or DLT that is being developed leveraging metagraphs. So good to see because Panasonic is a very large company, a bunch of different types of industry verticals, so it'd be really cool to see some applications come out of this. You can also see Constellation having a partnership with C14. C14 is building the next generation of fiat to digital asset payment flows through seamless fiat on-ramps and off-ramps. We also know that C14 partnered with Hedera a while back. We can see enabling seamless fiat on-ramping. Next up, we're going to run through some information for Casper. We have Michael Stoyer. He's a co-founder of Casper, referring to the CrowdStrike news where a bunch of enterprises and their systems went down using Windows machines, where Visa, American Airlines, all types of industries completely went down on Friday. Hey enterprises, you know what kind of systems don't go down when Microsoft decides to apply an update, decentralized enterprise blockchains such as Casper Network. So this is a huge push towards decentralized services. We have this group, Lunar Strategy, announcing that they've partnered with Casper Network. This is a native Web3 marketing team. So on lunarstrategy.com, we can see Trusted by, Polkadot, Oasis Network, several groups, and this should help with go-to-market strategies and Web3 growth initiatives. We also have a quote right here shared by Casper Labs. This is Mo, Casper Labs Board of Directors. And currently Mo is the Chief Marketing Officer for T-Mobile for Business. And he has 20 plus years of experience, and he says this: "What's really exciting to me is that I'm at an especially formative moment in the company's evolution amid a time of accelerated AI innovation and increased regulatory oversight. Casper Labs is introducing Prove AI as a new standard for AI governance later this year. The Casper Network is the ideal environment in which to build such a solution thanks to its highly secure, tamper-resistant nature." So Casper Labs has said that Prove AI will be launching before the end of Q3. So on Casper Live, I am looking for any types of contracts. I would love for them just to name the contract Prove AI. The main thing I want to see on Casper's mainnet are deployments, and I'd like to see Prove AI scale up. I'm also excited to see how Greg Whalen does in his new role because there is a huge push towards Prove AI. And I believe he's led engineering teams before. His background at AWS, even Zendit, this is a unicorn company or a $1 billion valuation company, as the CTO. I know there is some mainnet activity on Casper Network like Metacask and tracking the whiskey casks. We have Tubly, we also have games like Cross-Chain Defenders, but I want to see that first large enterprise application. Whether it's an application like Track and Trace that scales up, whether it's Prove AI or Nucleus Finance with Actus. And here's a quick clip discussing Actus and the power of composable contracts.
The really important thing about something like Actus is you get composition of financial contracts. And what that means is they're broken down into small components. The principal at maturity is one of the atomic financial interactions. Atomic meaning you don't break it down any further, right? And if you mix that with, say, a swap, then you can plug them together and suddenly you have a principal at maturity, but where the interest rate can be swapped out for a variable interest rate in the middle of the run. So this idea of composition, this idea of taking small parts and then making more intricate instruments by plugging some smaller parts together. This is something that is a part of the big value prop of Actus.
Next up, keeping tabs on this group, this is Equity Bricks, Bricks with an X, democratizing real estate with fractional ownership. And this should be launching on Casper Network this year. So I'm curious to learn more about this and Casper Network's role, and I don't want to name any networks, but there are other platforms that exist in the crypto space for the tokenization of real estate and getting rental yields, and some of these platforms inflate their projected yield and rental yields, and you're lucky to even get a fraction of that. So I hope that there are platforms in the future that are very accurate because we know the future of real estate is going to be tokenized. Alright, we'll finish up with this today going over the Casper US dollar stablecoin. We had John Sarson discussing the Casper US dollar stablecoin on the Casper podcast earlier this month. You can listen to these online, but we have the transcript right here, so I'm just going to go through a few bullet points. So we know stablecoins like USDC on Casper provide the stability of fiat currencies while leveraging blockchain's transparency and efficiency, mitigating volatility and making transactions more reliable and appealing. So this Casper US dollar stablecoin put out by Sarson Funds is a US compliant stablecoin that you can use right here in the United States. Even as stablecoin legislation passes in the United States, we believe it will, this coin's designed to be preemptively compliant with those rules so it won't be getting removed from DEXs or removed from exchanges. It's hard to argue that crypto is not volatile, it is, so if you're a business trying to do transactions that you've been doing for years as a brick and mortar business, you're used to denominating them in fiat. We know there's a lot of interest in stablecoins like USDC and also the recent regulation in the EU with USDC and the Euro coin, so Circle clearly leading the way in the US. So Sarsen Funds went ahead and launched what we believe will be a US compliant stablecoin. It has $1 of collateral held in a US banking institution for every dollar of tokens that are issued. You can see the collateralization in real time. Discussing Circle, the company, a huge player right now, acting a little bit like a kingmaker, they decide who gets USDC and who doesn't. Circle is positioning itself for a lot of competition. I think Tether is likely going to be positioned in such a way where they are almost unable to comply with US regulations regarding stablecoins. So John says, so it's very likely that Tether will not be available on US exchanges or possibly even on US DEXs. So I know that has been in everybody's minds for years and years. We haven't seen anything happen yet, but never say never. And right here is interesting. So based off that, for DEX users that are accessing something like Uniswap, it's going to create a lot of blue skies for smaller stablecoins that are US compliant to pop up. John also says the world's becoming very interoperable, and this is good. In the near future, we're going to see commerce and businesses asking for digital wallets, and they're going to take your Casper wallet, your Solana wallet, your Ethereum wallet, etc., and they're going to drop your credential on whatever chain works for you. That'd be really nice to see, also highlighting AI. Also highlighting Hyperledger Fabric, the largest blockchain in the world. It's a private, permission blockchain from IBM. So the ability to partner well with that is exceptionally important. We know, of course, Casper's involvement with IBM, also connecting to a Hyperledger, Hedera, a bunch of networks. And hopefully the stablecoin makes it even easier for some of their businesses to start to denominate assets or transactions in US dollars. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting the like button and sharing your thoughts down below. As always, you can find all links, including resources for charting, trading bots, platforms, wallets, portfolio trackers, and exclusive discounts in my link tree at the top of the video description. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.